hopefully you guys at least know what process is. If you want to practice anything that you see here, a really easy way to do so, you can just load the map by just typing map base cp underscore process, and then the version that we play on is F12. You gotta have the map locally downloaded to do that. And then once you load in, you want to type mp underscore tournament 1, and that'll make it have the ready up stuff here, so the timer won't run out, so you can just waddle around doing whatever. Got plenty more people joining. Awesome. I'll start with rollouts and heal order and stuff like that, and then we'll get into specific places to hold, places to push, ways you can sack, stuff like that. But I'll go over callouts as well in the beginning. And then if you guys have questions while we're going through it, just type it in the lecture hall chat. I'll be watching that while we do this. All right. So let's go over callouts first, since I'll be calling a lot of things while we go over this. So, well, here's process. Here's the whole thing. Just like most 5CP maps, it's important to note that it's kind of like split down the center here and mirrored on both sides. So a call out on half the map is going to be the same on the other half of the map. A rollout, good question actually. A rollout is going to be when you spawn in, you're going to spawn in your little spawn room here. And the rollout is the part of the round that happens from here to the first point where you're going to be fighting. It's called the mid fight because it happens on the midpoint. That point right down here, this middle point here. So that whole walk from spawn to the midpoint is the rollout, and it's different for each class. Usually, there's some different ways to do it depending on how you want to start the mid fight or play the mid fight. So we'll go over some of that though. Let's start with last, obviously. So this is last point. Let me just show you the points real quick. We got last, we have second, and then we have mid. And then obviously mirrored on the other side is again second, and they're like enemy second and enemy last. You can just call it their second, their last, whatever you want to say. So we'll start on last. So obviously you have your spawn shutters. It's important to, if you're ever calling your the spawn doors, call like left to right spawn. If you're on the defending side, it's going to be this side is the right side, this side is the left side. If you're attacking, this side is the left side, and this side is the right side. Or wait, did I say that? Right side? Sorry. Right side, left side, right side. Up here, we have heaven. This whole area up here is all heaven. People also call this nest, like saying that's heaven and that's nest, or calling it their nest. But usually, just saying heaven kind of gets the idea across that like somebody is up here. And then you've got rim. Is usually this thing here, because on some of the other maps, like Badlands, for example, you've got that kind of circular thing that people can stand, or not Badlands, sorry, Gully, for example, you've got that circular glass part people can stand on that's like the rim of the point. And this is kind of the same thing here. So you can stand up here. And then you're going to want to call the sides of the last point. This is about process, just the map process. So you're going to want to describe the sides of the last point in like lanes, or just saying like left to right side. So like if I'm going to say from the defending position, we're going to do all these calls from the defending position from now on. This is going to be mostly right lane here. This is left lane. And then you can specify from there, like if someone's on the ground, just getting as detailed as you can with those comms, because there isn't really like a specific word for this section of the ground as compared to this section of the ground. So if you can get more detail, then all the better. So on the right side here, you've got like heaven ramp, like right ramp and left ramp you can call. And then here we have 5 main doorways into last. Here's one. This whole area here is called 1. This is shutter. So this is 1 here. And then this is 2. Or rollout, because during rollout you go through this doorway. So you can call this 2 or rollout. And then over here is 3. Just this doorway here. And then over this doorway is 4. And then this doorway is 5. Between 3 and 4, you can call that between 3 and 4, or you can call it Euro, like Europeans, because like Europeans play here a lot. There's like a Euro strat that's what there came from, or you could call it. I feel like people call this Highlander, but I feel like the big call that a lot of people will use is Euro. Usually gets the point across, and a lot of times you'll call that because like their medic is standing here. Like on defense, what might happen is like one example is your combo holding last on defense might be standing over here on the ramp. And then once you get Uber, there's not like a ton of good reason to stay here still. So you want to move your medic into like a better position, which would be here like in Euro. So now the only way that they can reliably peek your medic and try and get a pick on him, like especially if there's a sniper up, the only place they can reliably do that from is 1, which we'll go over this also, but you're going to have a soldier standing here covering this doorway the whole time anyways. So every other doorway, they have to wide peek it so far that they're probably going to die to somebody on your team before they can get vision of your medic. So that's a common spot to call. And then also if you have an NG on last defending, you'll have like a gun there or a dispenser there and maybe gun like here on the ramp or something. So that's something to be aware of. And then over here, the only real like major call out of note would be like even like I guess heaven ramp or just the barrels are something that you want to be aware of. Up on these barrels is a place people stand a lot. Like Roamer will stand over here a lot. And then you can just refer to this whole area as like left lane. So that's mostly last. Go transition into lobby now. So this area over here is lobby. This whole section here connects to 3, 4, and 5, and then also upper and lower lobby. The only real special call out in here is going to be this thing up here. This is boiler. Any class can jump up here. Like I mean, soldiers going to be like without jumping is going to be a good example. So everybody can get up here and hide up on that boiler. So that's the thing you want to check whenever you're walking out of last and clearing things. You want to check the boiler. Something else of note is like if you're on attacking and you're pushing into lobby, players can hide behind these barrels here, these bigger boilers. So it's important to like if you're walking in through lower lobby or something, you can just shoot like one splash rocket off the wall and it'll hit anybody back there. Or if not, you just shoot one on the ground. That'll be a bit more consistent. So people can hide back there or hide on the boiler. Just be aware of that. You can also get on this window and get like a sniper angle like this, or be like hiding like I've hid in this windowsill and got the drop on people before. I don't know how people don't see people in there. You have to be like really not paying attention. So, but do be aware that you can sit there and just barely not be seen. So that's last and lobby. Lower lobby and upper lobby connect out to second here. This area is called bats or battlements. And then this connects over to upper IT over there. This also connects over to 2, you can see. But we'll just move this to second here. So usually people refer to the point itself and kind of this ramp area as like spire or up on the point, or just you could call it spire. Like on Badlands, there's the spire. And then this whole platform here, usually people will just call platform or like back plat, back over here somewhere, or like behind point. It's relative to where you are, obviously. It's like if we're attacking, then and I say behind point, my team's probably going to think there's somewhere back there or somewhere behind on the wall or something like that. So then, excuse me, from here, also this something of note is this is your first forward spawn. So in here, if you cap mid, then you're going to start spawning in this room. So you're going to be closer to go defend if you die. some other important callouts on defense at least? I guess standing up on the trapezoid here. This is called trapezoid, or people call it pizza also. A lot of times soldiers will be up here. You can get some bombs from up here. That was bad, but ideally you get the point. Yeah, that sucks actually. Usually you'll see this on offense though, where people will be up here spamming into lobby like this. You can call this like shack or hut outside the 2, or you could just say like he's above 2, and then usually people walking out of 2 will kind of know to look there. Something also of note on this map, these angled sections, any angled section of the wall, you can kind of hang on. I'm not really good at it, so hopefully I can show you this here. No, I'm bad. Yeah, just like that. So I'm not very good at it, but people that are good at it are able to do it like way up there. So a lot of people in like newcomer and amateur, and you'll start seeing it more than I am. But like a lot of people newcomer and amateur are not good enough to do that consistently. So it's like not worth spending a lot of time like standing here like, oh, is there somebody here? Like, no, just like a quick like, oh no, he's good. Just check really quick, make sure there's nobody up there. Sometimes you might get caught by that. On the ground here, you can call this grass or ground. If you are playing on the grass or the ground, that's bad. You want to make sure that you're always up on height in some capacity, either up on the platform or playing up on the point. Playing on the ground is really bad because you will get spammed down from high ground, and it'll take you're going to take a lot of damage trying to take height. So from 2, we've got IT is this whole area here. This whole section of the map is all IT. And then upper IT is here and lower IT is here. And then we have sewer over here. This is sewer. This whole area here is sewer. Outside of sewer towards second, this area is called Al-Qaeda. And it's called Al-Qaeda because soldiers bomb from here. And that's pretty much it. So if somebody calls Al-Qaeda, there's a guy that's probably going to bomb your combo from there in a second. Here, I don't think there's I see it's pretty 50-50 whether people have a comm for this spot in particular or not. You can incorporate this into like an Al-Qaeda call, because standing back here is a good spot for like sniper to be positioned. Like if you have a sniper coming up, cubby or grass, yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Cubby was the one that I heard. Thank you. Cubby or grass is what you'll hear for back here. Well, grass is going to be the whole area, but cubby is usually what this is, because snipers will be sitting here and they'll be able to see anybody that's standing on the platform back here. So to be aware of that. Moving to mid now, you've got choke. Is this whole area here? This big doorway or choke point, you could say. So this is choke. And then out here, this is the sewer entrance. Above sewer is awning. I would call this awning. And then that again, this whole area is still called IT. And then once you're on mid, you've got these are the big rocks. Just call these rock, because every time you're fighting around mid, the big rock is kind of like a key point on the map that people are going to be discussing and calling. Oh, there's a guy behind rocks, and he's behind rocks, and he's on rock, whatever. They're going to be talking about this big rock. So the little rock, you can call that little rock or like right rock if you're, let's say we're like on defense here and we are holding our side or doing essential mid or whatever it might be. That's going to be right rock, or you can call that little rock. But do make sure you're referring to this rock as rock. Anywhere on here is just height. If you say height, you're talking about anywhere on the crates or on this little bridge here. You can specify and say red crate or blue crate, and then red crate's going to refer to that whole section, and blue crate's going to refer to this whole section. And then this rooftop here, this is Seagull. This is a good spot to get if you're like doing like a right rotation. If you're coming into mid and you're rotating towards the right here, you can get some good spam angles from here and kind of lock their team out and keep them from pushing your combo that's trying to walk through Death Corner. This corner here is Death Corner. Same side on the same on the other side of the map. So if you get caught there, it's really bad, and you will probably die because the soldier's going to bomb you and deal 500 damage to 3 players at the same time. So getting a player on Seagull here is really good. They have to spam that, by the way. They have to get somebody like all the way over here on the ground. They have to be either rotating their right or like your left. They have to be either rotating to your left or they have to be, pushing all the way up here. In which case they're going to be getting spammed by that guy and your team walking forward. Yeah, all the comms that are like, you can call this a couple different things. You want to make sure that you're specifying with your team on your own before you just jump in and start calling different things. So blue, red, catwalk, yeah, those are also valid. And then that's mostly it for general callouts. Once you are more comfortable with whatever you're calling different things with your team, then where was I going with that? I can't remember. It's something you won't have to worry as much about, basically. So I wouldn't focus too much on like, oh, are we calling it the right thing? As long as you talk about it beforehand, you're fine. So let's go over rollouts now. So scouts are going to be really easy. Obviously, you just kind of walk. So you're going to spawn somewhere here, and once you spawn, I'd suggest crouching because it's going to make your medic's life a lot easier when he's trying to heal your met or your demo. So just crouch, and then once he's healing your demo, you can stop crouching, and then just hold W. So you start walking once the timer's up for like where you're frozen. You're gonna walk here through 2. You're gonna just drop down on the ground, don't jump, and you're gonna walk out through choke, and that's it. Really easy. One variation of that you can do that usually it used to be that like you'd really only see your flank scout doing this. Your flank scout can like go through IT here. For example, if you're calling like a right or a left rotate on mid, your flank scout can come to here and then he's already here on the left side making space for your team. So that's something that you can do. Nowadays, what you'll see more, which I think it's usually a higher level strat, but you'll see like both of your scouts walk out here. So the single, yes, exactly what I'm about to get to. Yeah. So the single scout going through IT was usually just like, was originally just to do that, just, get a player over here faster. But also what it's doing now, because this is also a thing that a lot more soldiers are doing nowadays is you'll see roamers go into the enemy IT like off rip the second they're like, when they're ending their rollout, they end their rollout in the enemy IT. So like, for example, let me do the roamer rollout and I'll show you. So roamer rollout, you're just going to spawn, not move, crouch for your medic. And once he's healing your demo, then you can uncrouch. Once you start moving, your medic should be beaming you to 300. And then once you're out this doorway, I would suggest, I know a lot of people want to jump off of this pole. I would suggest not jumping off the pole because it's, you don't really need to. Just practice the jump from the doorway here. You can walk out, jump again, and you're in 2. And it's really easy. So just practice it a little bit and you're fine. So the roamer has a couple options here. He can either just jump into the choke like this and, take minimal damage and be healthy for whatever's about to happen on the mid. Or do some variation of a super bomb through choke onto whatever it might be on mid. So yeah, that's right. If you are doing that, it gives you a chance to be rebuffed as well, part of the being healthy. So the super bomb, I like to call it, consists of something like this. Okay, that was bad. Hold on. That was really bad. My fingers are cold. consists of something like that. You see, I'm ending it like in the enemy IT here. So I could have done a few things there. I can either cancel my momentum and land on height. Super Bomb will get you more bitches. You'll see it in all the frag movies. I could either kill my momentum and land on height like here or even over there. And then, I'm up here kind of contesting the demo right away, so I'm kind of forcing him back. And then also I can get spam and choke so that their players aren't able to come through for free without taking any damage. So I'm getting some good early damage in. And then also what this does is, Demo's now staring right at me. He's going to start spamming me, because if he doesn't, then I'm going to just destroy him. So Demo has to spam me, use stickies on me, and he's not using stickies on my team. So landing on height with that bomb is really good for Roamer. But another thing you'll see is people will go into IT. So I always bring this up because it's possible, but it's usually not as viable. You can go into sewer with that bomb instead, but if I'm going into sewer, I'm landing here. I'm going to be also not as healthy. Just like if I'm going into IT, I'm going to be not as healthy as if I'm like landing in choke or anywhere else. But I'm going to be not healthy. I'm basically going to have to go get this pack over here, in which case their team is going to be right here outside of the shutter. So they can send one scout or one soldier that's fully buffed to come and fight me with no buff, and maybe I haven't gotten the pack yet, and I'm probably going to lose that fight. So they can also just wrap through the sewer shutter here, and then I'm fighting a 2v1, and then I'm losing. Granted, I am taking the attention of 2 players away from my team on mid, so there is an upside to that. However, it's usually common that I'm just going to die if I do that. So going into IT is much more viable. So when I go into IT, I'm going to bomb, I'm going to land here, and then I'll either just try and fight that guy, which usually is probably not going to be what I want to do because I'm not going to be healthy enough to. So instead, I'm just going to walk in here, jump over, grab this pack here, and then I have a couple options. I can either come right back out of IT, in which case, if I come here and then I delay for 2 seconds, their combo is going to walk right in front of me, and I'm just going to spam the shit out of their meta and the demo and whoever else is here and do a ton of damage. That I'm going to be relying on my team's call for. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to say, hey, call when their combos in front of IT, and then my team's going to say, they're in front of IT now, and then I'm going to come out, and I'm just going to kill them all. If they're not staring at me. If they're staring at me, then hopefully one of my teammates calls that, hey, they're looking for you in IT. Then I'm just going to, sit here. I'm just going to sit here and just be a threat to them. So they have to be worried about me being there, and they might need to send somebody back, in all of which cases I'm getting value. The other option is you can go through lower IT or upper T, whichever one, and then I come behind them into their choke here, and now I'm behind them, and I can get a bomb on their combo like this, or whatever you want to do. So that takes a lot longer. So a lot of times, by the time your soldier is wrapping around through their choke, they're going to be probably walking into you. The enemy team is going to be walking into your team. So you do want to expect that. So either have your soldier come out quick, or expect for them to rotate into you quickly because they know that you're down a player. So back to the scouts. With that context in mind, having 1 or 2 scouts go into IT for the rollout will counter that soldier doing a quick rotate or doing a quick rollout through IT. Because now he's not healthy. He has to walk all the way over here to get this pack. So he's going to get it's an easy 2-shot for one of your scouts to just insta-kill him. So that is kind of a cascading effect from, a lot of soldiers are doing that IT rollout nowadays compared to like a few years ago. That was not as common. Nowadays it is way more common. So, it's also way more common for your scouts to roll out IT. Any questions on that? Okay. So, other soldier, pocket soldier. Once you spawn, ideally you've got this is actually I'm going to say this is a non-negotiable. There's a few non-negotiable items, obviously for different classes. Non-negotiable for pocket soldier, escape plan. You need to have escape plan. If you don't, it's not at the end of the world, but it's not as non-negotiable as some of the other ones, but it's it's going to make your roll a lot better. So when I spawn on pocket soldier, I'm immediately going to turn around and I'm just going to use all my rockets. Whoops. and shoot out the doorway like this. I'm going to use all 4 of my rockets. I'm not going to use any more. I'm going to immediately swap to my escape plan, and I'm just going to walk out of 2 all the way to mid. I'm not going to try and reload and shoot more. I'm just going to be so weak that I was doing a demo review of one of my soldiers recently, and the guy got to right here with 6 HP. That's really bad. That's really bad. Just use your 4 rockets. If you've got gunboats, you're probably going to be like 120 to 100 or maybe 80, somewhere between 80 and 120 HP. If you've got shotgun, I wouldn't recommend shotgun. You can run shotgun. It's fine. It's just not as common now. I would just say run gunboats. Make your life easy. If you do have shotgun, though, you're going to probably only use 2 rockets, and you're going to be like 40 health or 60 health. So somewhere between 40 and 60. But anyways, you're going to just shoot all 4 of your rockets. That's, yeah, between no lower than 61 to 79 is ideal, but it's going to, I would just say, keep it simple. Just shoot all 4 rockets. Don't bother reloading. Just shoot all 4, switch to escape plan, and run all the way here. Once you get to about like here or somewhere, then you want to swap back to your rocket launcher, start reloading your rockets, and just walk straight at the wall. Just walk straight at the wall so that your medic behind you, your med's going to be right behind you. And then he's going to arrow. He's going to see, oh, he put his pickaxe away. I can arrow him now because I'm not going to heal him for only 7 HP or something. He's going to arrow you, and the second you get arrowed, just turn and walk out the choke, and then you're ready for the mid fight. By here, you're going to be probably 300 HP because he's going to be buffing you also. So that's pocket. God damn it. Yes, 6-7. Thank you. So it's a demo now. So that's why I say it's usually common for both soldiers to just run gunboats. Actually, because nowadays the meta is basically double roamer. It's your pocket soldier doing actual combo things it matters a lot less nowadays than it did in past. Not that your pocket soldier should be never by combo, it's just that your pocket soldier is allowed to flex a lot more. So like the main role of pocket soldier, I would say nowadays, is to just be covering the 1 or 2 angles that the rest of your team isn't covering. Or covering wherever your roamer isn't, or you could say being able to fill in for your roamer whenever they're unavailable too. So it's going to be really important that you get sack timings in correctly. So if your roamer's unable to do that, your pocket hopefully is able to do that and should take his place there. So yeah, I will go over that though. I'm also going to go a little bit quicker because we're taking a bit longer than I hoped. So demo, you're going to spawn, your med's going to heal you. Wait until you're like fully buffed from your medic and then do this jump. You're going to turn around, shoot 1 sticky behind you, and then just jump somewhere around here. And then once you're here, your med's probably still going to be able to heal you to full again. So wait until you're 260. And then once you can move, just hold W, walk around here, and you're going to try and get your sticky somewhere. Get your sticky somewhere on this left half of the door frame. You can also do this. You can do a jump from here. If you can never get the jump from the doorway here, then you can jump from the pillar here. That's fine. I would suggest you try and learn this though. Get your sticky somewhere on this left half of the door frame if I'm looking at it like this. And then kind of somewhere around the line, this line on the wall. If I do that, then I'm going to get a perfect angle to ramp onto that rollout, the ramp and rollout. So if I get my sticky kind of there, then I'm going to just ramp up here like that. Perfect. That's going to take the most practice probably of any of these. So if you can't do that, then, practice it. So I fucked it up again, but you get the idea. Yeah, I'm not good at it. I mess it up too often. But you get the idea. Rollouts do not change if you use left-handed view models. As far as I was aware, the view models don't actually change where the weapon, where the projectile comes out of, but I saw something recently that they actually do now. So I don't know if that was a change or if it always was like that, but as far as I was aware, the last I had heard, which was years ago, they used to come out of the right side no matter what. So, but anyways, the rollout itself will not to answer the question. The rollout itself will not change. You're just gonna have to put your crosshair in slightly a different spot. So that everybody, regardless of if you have flip me view middles, should be practicing that. You might need to just practice it differently. So once you're here, you get ramped up here. Once you're here, a really consistent setup for this. If you get really good at it, you can get your sticky like really close to the edge here, and then you ramp somewhere. You get all the way to the choke and ramp there. But I found that a pretty consistent setup for this is getting your sticky just close to the middle above the little square on the door here, and then you get plenty of height. That was really terrible. That was really bad. You get plenty of height and plenty of speed to edge bug. Oh, when you see it, you get plenty of height and speed to ramp off of the slope here in the choke. I'm not hitting it at all right now. There we go. That wasn't good, but you get it. So then you're here on mid. You don't need to get the pack. It used to be that demos would always have to go get the pack. Nowadays, you don't really need to because your med's going to be hopefully right behind you soon enough so that you can just get an arrow. But yeah, you're here on mid. Get some stickies onto their demo, lock them out, and there you go. You're fighting the mid. Any questions on rollouts? Oh, actually, let me go over med really quick. Med is pretty simple. You just follow your scouts. The most intricate part's going to be here in spawn. So when I'm here and I spawn, I'm going to immediately try and heal my demo. Once my demo's full HP, once we start moving, I'm just going to keep beaming my demo until we start moving. And the second we start moving, I'm going to switch to heal my roamer, who's still going to be here. Once my roamer's 300, I'm going to just swap between my two scouts. We're going to walk all the way out to mid. And then once I get to somewhere like right in front of lower IT, somewhere right here, I'm going to swap to my crossbow, arrow my soldier, and then beam him until he's 300 all the way through choke. And that's the mid. Or that's the rollout for med. So those are rollouts. So let's go over mid fight now. Yeah, the respawn location does randomize. There is no way that you won't be able to beam your demo. Everybody will be close enough to each other that you will always be able to beam the demo. The only way that you won't be able to beam your demo is if your team is all like jumping up in front of you, blocking the beam. So no, you're always going to be able to heal your demo early. There's no way that you won't be able to. No, the medic does not heal the roamer again. The medic's going to be too far behind. The roamer is going to be jumping away too fast to get beamed again. If the roamer doesn't do the super bomb and like just lands in choke, then he can get beamed again. Yes, but if he's doing the fast bomb through choke, landing like in their IT or on height or something, then he's not going to be able to get a buff again. He'd have to delay it too much. That's not a thing. The question from Audrey. That happens in pubs. That's not the configs that we run disable that. All right, so let's go over the mid fights really quick. So your mids, I would suggest to all of you to have your default mids just be a central mid. If your P soldier doesn't double bomb with you, you just kill him on the spot. No, I mean, if you need to make sure that you're calling it ahead of time. If you are not calling a double bomb ahead of time and your pocket soldier's not ready to, then it's like fully on you for not calling it. But if you call it and your pocket soldier can, no, don't. You double bomb in 3. You say, hey, let's double bomb this mid, and your pocket soldier should go, all right, sure. And then now he should know, and then you go, all right, double bomb in 3, and then he goes. All right, I need to do these some positioning here though. Spider mid is not viable. Please just play your sixes classes. If you want to be like BMing, then run like heavy to mid. But it's like just do your team a favor and just play normally. All right, again. So I would suggest doing central mids just for understanding how the mid fights kind of flow. And then if you want to switch it up, then you can do a rotational mid. Central mids work by just having your combo somewhere in this area here the whole time. And then you have like your scouts taking height off of the rock. They jump up onto the height there, or you can have a scout. Scouts can jump like from here onto the seagull here, and then onto the crate. That's another way to get up. And then they should be rotating to and from. They should be alternating rotations to your med for heals. They should be rotating for heals. Is what that is called. So if both scouts are getting heals at the same time, that means neither of them are on height, and that means you guys are probably not getting good positioning. So you should probably back up or give some space a little bit. So ideally, you have one scout getting healed while the other is on height, and then as they get damaged, then they come back, and the other one goes forward, etc. Meanwhile, your soldiers, probably your pocket soldier, should be playing for height if it's not called to double bomb really fast. Your pocket soldier should probably be playing for height while your roamer can play for a bomb and a sack or something, or you can just have both of them playing for height, or one of them playing on the ground and then one of them playing for height. The idea here is that basically you want to be just poking their players out of mid and trying to take space where you can for like a default central. Like if both teams are being kind of passive, then if possible, you can get a soldier bomb in. But ideally, you aren't like feeding players. If they have 6 players up and you have 6 players up and you're just bombing into them, that's the thought process should be that like, oh, I'm going to bomb and probably die, but ideally I get a pick. It's not going to be I'm going to bomb and they're all going to walk away from me. That's not going to happen. I mean, if the other team is like not playing their best and aren't paying attention, then that might be what happens, but that shouldn't be what you're relying on to happen. So it's important that you are staying healthy and staying on height. That's the most important thing for this mid. You want to stay on height and stay healthy. The way you can make the other team not healthy is if they are trying to take height, your demo should be spamming stickies onto the players on height. That's probably the most important, consistent way to get damage on their team is to have keep their players off of your demo and allow your demo to just cross map sticky their combo or sticky their players off of height so that you can control height better. I guess they're spamming a little much here. You can tell if they're looking at bombing your combo usually by just how they're positioning. So if you just look over and see their soldier like lining up for a bomb, a couple of the positions are going to be these. So if you see their soldier kind of start to line up over here, he's probably going to bomb off this wall like this. Another one is like off of the kind of flat wall there on the side of or above IT. So that might be another one too. Another one that you might see is like let's say I'm just going to go like fast into their combo, then you might see somebody do something like this. Something like that. So you want to just make sure you have people on again, what's going to allow you to spot stuff like that better is if you have height control. Because if you're all like behind height and you're all behind the rock or whatever, then you're not going to be able to see that happening. So if you can spot where their soldiers are, that's usually going to telegraph that guy's about to bomb. So, but you need vision for that. So, height control is what's going to be important there. Let me see. Yeah. So, I would suggest just doing central mids just to keep things simple. If you want to do a rotational mid, then what you should do is you have your players take the height of where you want to rotate. Maybe you have a soldier go on to Seagull here. Let's say if it's a right rotate at least. And then you have your combo walk up on the ground. And you want to have your combo get through here as quickly as possible and break out here and then start taking ground here. If they're rotating, then you fight them as they rotate. But if they're just going to leave choke, then you just take the point and that's the mid. So, but if you get caught out here and their soldiers bomb you, then you're going to start losing players because this positioning here sucks. Because now you can't see anything. If I'm here I can't see anything happening on the other side of the map, and I'm on low ground, so I'm gonna have to be shooting for like upward directs. If I'm the soldier, I'm gonna have to shoot and hit upward directs on somebody on height there. So you want to make sure you come through here quickly. If it's a left rotate, it's the exact same thing, just on the other side. You want to make sure that you get height. Ideally, you get somebody up here. Maybe get a soldier or a scout over here and shove them off of rock. Make sure there's nobody on Seagull, and then you come through here really quickly for the left rotate. You just come really quick. Again, have your players on height here, and then your combo just walks up and takes a space. So you're good. So those are your main ways to play mid. Once you are done with the mid fight, usually by the time that the mid fight ends, both teams are probably going to have Uber. This is assuming that your medics are healing. If your med is not healing at all, and if you're ending mid fight and your med has like 70%, you are not healing like at all during the mid fight. So something to be aware of is not like arrow spamming too much. So if your med is constantly arrowing everybody, he's not going to be building very much Uber. So you want to make sure that your players are able to drop back and get like beamed to get healed a lot and not just get arrowed constantly. And then like your roamer should be like the only one that's like getting arrowed and then jumping away, or your soldier. Like your demo and your scouts require a lot less health to be viable, so they should be able to get beamed more often. So yeah, it's really important that you're making sure that you're also building Uber on mid. Not building like have your scout hitting himself with Boston Basher building, but building like using your medigun and not your crossbow too much. So by the time that the mid is over, ideally it's probably going to be even Ubers if a med didn't die. If a med died, then you should be probably taking the enemy second from that. If your med lived at least. But I'm gonna assume that it's even, and then I'll discuss like add and disadd off that. So assuming that it's even Ubers, I won't discuss Ubers too much here because it's supposed to be just a map review. Hopefully you understand what Ubers, add, and disadd are. But if the Ubers are even, then on offense here you're gonna have. We're assuming we're the offense here. We're pushing out into the enemy second. I'm gonna have my combo somewhere around here, probably having my medic like here or like on height or on the plat a little bit, so he's not like totally on the ground and has some ways to escape if a soldier bombs is gonna be important. And then I'm going to have my scout and my demo obviously playing here. My demo is going to be focusing on just trapping out the choke so somebody can't just jump through onto your medic. And then your scout's going to be here to deny people jumping through to help protect your medic and protect your demo. Your pocket soldier, I'm going to go over next. Your pocket soldier should just be right here. Keep it simple. Have your pocket soldier stand right here on the crate. He covers anybody trying to walk through IT. So it's really important that if your pocket soldier is not here, you should be calling that, hey, I'm getting ammo. I'm not on crate. I'm not watching IT. And then that way your flank scout can watch it, or somebody else can. So it's really important that your pocket soldier is going to be here covering IT, so that way they can just walk through. And then while that's happening, your flank scout I see a lot of flank scouts will like linger in IT and sometimes get value, which can be good. If you want to have anybody kind of walk into IT to peek it for info, it should be your flank scout. But if not, then your flank scout can play with your roamer, which a lot of times is going to be in sewer here, to just try and clear this out. And then once it's cleared, then your flank scout can leave and go back out. But if you think there's somebody in here, have your flank scout walk with your roamer to clear this. But your flank scout wants to be kind of roaming around, getting info for wherever it seems like you guys might be trying to make a playthrough. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Fox. Yeah, your flank scout will mostly cover IT, and then if your roamer needs somebody to help him, it's gonna be your flank scout. 'Cause your combo scout's gonna be needed to cover choke with your demo and mid, because of what is gonna happen with your soldier in sewer. So I'm gonna focus on like soldier bombs from sewer. Soldier bombs from IT work. You can bomb from lower IT or up IT or whatever, but it's just common if their flank scout, if the enemy flank scout is playing how he should be playing, there should be no way for you to get a soldier through IT, and I'll explain that. So usually it's going to be common for you to get a soldier, either do a bomb through choke or get through sewer here and bomb from Al-Qaeda. So obviously a bomb from Al-Qaeda is going to look something like this. That's a really simple one. You can vary that if you want. If you want to bomb through choke here, you can either bomb off of that or bomb off of this, and you go something like this. Oh, that was bad. Whoops. Oh my god, I did it again. Basically, you're going to ramp off of that and then fly out. What the something's going on. You ramp off of this, and then you fly out, and then you would surf over there, land on point. You could even land it in their rollout. Hold on, let me try one more time. There we go. Something like that. So if I had done it better, I could land in 2, or but I'm going to try and probably just land here. It's really important that for soldier bombs, you're landing on height, unless you're just going immediately for a med. You can land directly on the med. Usually the med's going to be somewhere in this area, but really it's going to be more consistent if you land on height, and then you can just spam their med out. So that way you're not landing on top of him, and you're having to flick your mouse all over the place trying to see their medic because he's walking all over you. So I would suggest land on height, and then you can spam the med out. If you can't get the med, get the demo. And then if you can't get the demo, then try and get anything or just live. The bomb through choke, you have less clip ammo. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You're going to use 3 rockets if you're doing it from back there and trying to get through. You can use less by using 2 rockets and doing from here. But that's gonna you're gonna get a lot less height, and that you're just gonna have to land somewhere over there or over here or whatever. From Al Qaeda, you also only use 2 rockets, so you're landing somewhere like there if you get some good speed. So jumping from choking the wall, you mean this? You mean that? That's one you can do also, by the way. Anyways, do whichever one that you are most comfortable with is going to be the key point there. So while that's happening, while your roamer's doing that, your combo should be here. Before your roamer bombs in, your combo should be setting up somewhere here and getting ready to pressure choke. It's really important that you're pressuring choke here while that's happening. So your soldier's going to call, all right, I'm bombing now, or bombing in 3, and then your combo should walk up like this when that comm comes through. So your combo is kind of walking up like this. Check for traps, obviously. But your combo is going to walk up like this. I would say your demo should walk no farther forward than this. If you want to play consistently, have your demo no farther forward than this. And your scout can kind of jump up here if he wants to, or just sit here also. I would say it's probably going to be best if your scout jumps here. If there's traps, then your scout can clear them like this, and then clear them like this, and he just walks through. Or you just have your demo clear them, or if somebody else can clear them, that because your scout can't, then that's fine. But usually your scout's just going to walk through and just shoot them really quick. But it's important to note that these players aren't going to be like bombing through, probably. They're your guys that are walking to choke. So if there's traps like all the way up on the wall, don't bother shooting them. You're not going to be affected by them. It's important that you call that there's traps there in case somebody else comes behind you and gets deaded on. But if they're like halfway up the wall or far back enough that they're not going to do anything damage to your players in choke while you're pressuring for the bomb, for the sack, don't interact with them. It's because it's just a waste of your time, and so somebody's going to bomb you while you're shooting at them and just kill your players in your combo while you're shooting a stick on the wall. Because while your soldier's bombing, you want to have your combo pressuring for that sack, so that way some of their players are now looking at your combo instead of that soldier that's flying through the air at them. And then also, while that's happening, let's say your soldier does get value. If my combo's all the way out here, like, oh, I just dropped their medic, or oh, I just dropped their demo, or whatever, they just forced. Okay, my combo now has to walk all the way out here to even see where their players are, by which point they've probably left second if they're smart. They probably have left and are now setting up on last. If I'm here and my soldier gets value in some way, not only do I not even have to wait for his comm, I see it happen. Now, immediately, I'm walking forward. Their players are probably around here somewhere. I'm walking forward, immediately killing their demo or their scout or whoever the hell is still fighting me here. And then if I'm the demo, I'm going to probably just sticky on the floor and jump in. And then I'm landing on them, cutting their exit off like that. So it's really important that you're getting pressure while that sack is happening. So you don't have to instantly Uber off of that. You can if you want to. If you do, it's really important that your demo doesn't bomb too far away. Like your demo should not be bombing farther than like here. Your demo really here is even a stretch. If your demo bombs farther forward than this, it's really easy for him to get caught out by those players that are leaving. Even if they are leaving, they can still catch your demo out and kill him because he's going to be disconnected from your combo. So while your while your demo is jumping, your scout and your med are going to have to walk up and walk all the way over here to reconnect with your demo. So it's really important that during bombs on demo, you're not jumping too far away from your medic, if it's during Uber especially. So pressuring for that sack is important, and then acting off of that is also important. If the sack fails, you're also not too far forward that you can't just get out. So if that sack fails, all right, we're just backing up. We're going to expect a counter sack, get sticks on the wall here, expect the soldier to jump through, and we're just going to kill him, and then we can maybe sack our pocket soldier now. So something else to be aware of, though, is because this is what you want to do. This is really good for your team. This is a really good default for you to pressure for a sack from choke here. A good roamer spot for the defending team is going to be like right here, and that's what I was also going to say. I'll probably tell you to do this once I go over this. I'll try to go over this quicker, but being here is a perfect spot to counter pressure from their combo. So like if their soldier jumps in, it's on the defense's roamer to counter sack as quickly as possible. So there's usually no point in waiting for their soldier to get value. If I see that somebody's bombing through, I'm not even waiting for a comm from my team like, oh, they killed their medic, oh, they killed their demo. I'm immediately jumping into their choke and bombing these players in choke here. Because they're probably not going to be expecting it. They're probably just still moving to get into position. So I'm going to be landing on players not suspecting it and doing a ton of damage. So that's why it's really important that you're walking up with your scout here in choke, because the only way that you're probably going to ever deny that soldier jumping on your players is by having your combo scout here in choke with your combo. So if your combo scout's not there, expect for a loss of somebody, a demo or a med. If they're not playing like right here, if they're not playing right here, then that's on them. Then abuse that mess up from them and just walk your players through. But do expect that they're going to do that, because that will happen often. When that's happening, you can also be getting your pocket soldier maybe through IT, or your flank scout through IT. Your flank scout's probably going to be IT already, so you can get your flank scout through IT. So that is, I spent a lot of time on that because that's usually where you're going to see a lot of stalemates happening, just trying to force into the enemy second while you're holding mid or something. If you're ad or evens on mid here. If you're disad, probably a good idea to play your combo here by choke, at least behind rock or something. You could have a soldier by here, by T. Better play with back situation. Yes, but then again, if your soldier that's sacking gets value, you're not able to act on that value at all. You're not able to capitalize on it in any way. So it's really important that you're still walking up and pressuring for that. If you don't want to pressure from choke, you can call the pressure from somewhere else. Like, let's say that's happening a lot. Let's say there's always a soldier jumping on your combo. He's always getting value, killing somebody, and you just can't deny him. Pressure from somewhere else. You can pressure from IT. You can walk your combo into IT here. And then if they try to fight you in IT fight your combo in IT, they will lose. Like if their flank scout is trying to fight you in IT, he will lose. You just kill him. And if a soldier tries to jump in your 2, you just kill him. So you can pressure your combo here and try and walk straight out onto the point here. Or you can even pressure your combo in sewer here. You can walk out here and pressure like this. And then this gives you a ton of vision. So you can even see if that soldier's just sitting there with his pants down. So you don't have to do that. You can do other things. It's just going to be the most common way that you will see people set up pressure for sacks. If it's disad, and you're on mid here, it's probably best for you to stay in somewhere around rock or somewhere on your team's crate, which is going to be next to IT for you to leave. So if they start pressuring through, it's disad. They might Uber on you, or if you're down players, back up, give them space. Expect for them to probably walk players through and maybe use on you. So it's really important that you're staying alive to just leave. So if they're walking through, I'm just leaving IT like this. So. All right, so if we are on second now, let's say we're second offense, or we're defending our second here.
and it's let's say it's add or even. If it's add or even, you want to play your combo on plat here, like how I mentioned earlier. If it's even, you definitely want to start walking your combo up to choke or through IT or sewer, whichever one you want to push through, either one. But I'm going to go over choke because that's probably going to be where you're defaulting a lot of the time. You want to walk your combo up to choke and then have your soldier, ideally your soldier, bomb through and checks traps around choke, or if he can and not die to it, checks traps also over here for sewer, so you can have maybe the player walk through sewer or whatever. But really, it's just the most important thing is having somebody get through choke to check for traps, and then you can call it, and then your players can clear it. If that can't happen, then you just have your scout walk up and just clear really quick. So if they're holding close, you should probably just Uber on them. Yeah, if you guys have scrims, you can go. It's still a couple of minutes until 8:30. So, if what was I gonna say? If they're holding close and you have Uber, just Uber on them. Like walk your med and demo up through here. Flash your demo so he just sticky jumps away and lands on them immediately, and then beam your scout. Don't beam anybody else. I mean, you can apply a lot of general like how you should. So you should be applying to other maps how you react to different Uber scenarios. But it's going to be a lot different, like what you actually do physically. So not like a ton. You should be paying a lot of attention to, though, like if we have ad or if they have ad or whatever, we should then be doing this. Meaning like we should then be leaving or going in or whatever. The thought process is the same. Yes, the thought process on most 5CP maps is the same for if we have ad or disad or whatever, or down players, then we should be in or out or sitting and doing nothing or whatever it might be. There are some exceptions to that, but for the most part, yeah. How you act accordingly and how you move throughout the map, that's going to be very different. All right, so if it's ad, and let's say we have Uber and they don't have Uber yet, and we're walking up to choke and they're holding close, I would just Uber my demo through, beam my scout, flash my demo, beam my scout, and we're just landing on their combo here before they can leave. And that's gonna get a lot of value. And then your players on flank will be able to get through IT and sewer. Make sure that you have at least one person getting through IT and sewer, so that way you're clearing those. You're clearing both of the flanks at the same time. That should answer that question. Well, actually, if your guy on flank is always dying to their person on flank, your guy on flank should just be more passive. Like he should just not be walking up as much. Simple as it. Like if you're always dying on flank, stop being so aggressive on flank. Yeah. So if it's even and we're just waiting, if it's even, we're expecting the enemy to sack into us here. So if it's even, really important for your combo to be up here somewhere. Maybe your pocket soldier up here and your pocket scout up here. Your roamer, like I said before, your roamer can be there and just waiting to counter sack in or spam them and choke, or he can also be going and clearing sewer or whatever. And the only position that I stress so much on a second defense hold is flank scout. Flank scout, you should stand right here. And if you are standing here, you can remove your hand from the keyboard and you are doing your job. It's so important that I stress this. Your flank scout needs to be here and nowhere else. Just stand here. So you can see anything in IT. Now, let's say they're walking players into IT. I'm still not putting my hand on the keyboard. There's no reason for me to walk into them and fight them. I'm gonna walk in and I'm gonna try and fight 1v1 a scout. Like, what am I getting from that? He's not getting any value just being in IT. There's like no value he gets from that. So I'm not gonna coin flip a 1v1 walking into IT to 1v1 a scout. Let's say a soldier walks in there. That's a guaranteed loss. He splashes anywhere in here and it'll probably hit me. Especially if I'm here, I can't jump anywhere without him splashing and hitting me. So if there's people walking into IT, I see flank scouts do this so much. There's like zero reason for you to be walking into IT and fighting 1v anything in IT. This is not a server I'm in. I'm just loaded into a map solo. So if they have players walking into IT, like a lot of players, like if their combo's walking into IT, your flanking scout should call that, and then your roamer can divert over if he wants to, or your pocket soldier can divert over, so your roamer's sort of holding choke, and then he can spam from upright T while you're holding them in here, and he can get a bunch of damage and like that. And then if they're fully committing their combo, for example, then you should just give the space. Like you're not going to do anything of value by just sitting here and dying to 2 players in their combo, because that's what will happen. They'll either use on you and kill you, or you're just going to lose a 1v2 to a scout and a demo. So just back up and give some space. It's your whole job is to just make sure that they're not getting through IT for free. If you've spotted that their combo's in IT and your whole team knows it now, you've done your job. Perfect. So if they have moved their players into IT now, though, your combo is now on your combo to walk forward a little bit and meet them here. Instead of just kind of sitting here and letting them walk in, walk forward and meet them. So if they're walking through low IT, expect them to like bomb out. They're probably going to want to Uber out of low IT onto you. If they do that, then you just counter. Their Uber is going to guaranteed be worse. So you just sit here on height, try and deny them if you can. If they don't Uber onto you, just 2-shot the idiot that's jumping you. If he tries to jump you, you just 2-shot him and he dies. It's very simple. If they're going through upright T, which is going to be a lot more common, then your demo can just stick it off and just juggle them in upright T, and they won't be able to get through for free. They'll have to either Uber or risk dropping players. So really important that you get vision with your flank scout in IT, and don't die. There's no reason for you to die on flank scout holding IT. All right. For defending against the sacks, other than that, defending against the sack, yeah, your call to spot IT is to, if you get called to spot IT, it's to do this. If your team wants you to walk all the way through here and spot IT like this, you can tell your team to go fuck themselves. That's stupid and doesn't help at all. What do you actually spot? What could I see while I was there? Let's actually look. I'm on Flame Scout. I'm called, hey, spot all the way through IT. Okay, that sounds like a bad idea, but I'm going to do it. Okay, I can see height a little bit. I can see in front of our big pack, and I can see in front of their IT. That's like nothing. That's like 10% of the mid. If your team wants you to do that, that's not a good play. You should discuss that during a review and say, hey, I know you guys keep wanting me to do this. I shouldn't be doing this. This is bad. If I'm just here in choke, watch this. This is how you get more info. I'm the roamer. I'm the roamer here, and my team wants to get some info. I'm gonna walk a little bit over here, and I'm just gonna go like this. Wow! I just saw all of mid. I just saw everything. Wow! I just did it again. I just saw everything. Oh my god! So the only thing that I can't see here is I can't see if there's somebody like on the ground all the way over here on the awning or like in their IT. But all of those things really don't matter. If we're about to push in, we will get that info by having somebody jump through here. Boop. I've now there. Boom. Just like that. I just got all the info that we were missing earlier. So yes, good. Good thing to bring up. Let's see if it's even. Your medic drops. If it's even and your medic drops somehow, if they are holding close, yes. You should immediately try to get their medic. That goes for most situations. If your medic drops and their team is holding close enough, you should immediately have all of your players try and sack for their med. The only time that doesn't really apply is if you're like already passive on second and your med dies. What are you all going to sack and then you're all going to probably maybe die and then it's a guaranteed loss. You're going to lose a round guaranteed because now you're all dead and they're going to just roll to last. Probably not a good scenario to do that there. If they are far back enough and your med dies, that like they're just going to walk away before you can get onto them, then no, don't try and all in for their medic because you're just not going to be able to get to them in time. They're just going to leave and then you're just going to take a ton of damage. They're going to walk back into you and you're just going to die. So that's a situational thing. That's that you're going to have to exercise some discretion there. If it's kind of on you guys to just know like, okay, they're too far, or they're close enough. We can. That will come with time and experiencing enough scenarios like that. Does that answer that question? I hope that answers both of those questions. Okay. So yeah, if you won the mid fight and you only killed their medic, then like, yeah, you're gonna be walking into 5 damage classes with only 5 damage classes, because again, your medic is not a damage class, so he's not really gonna be helping very much. So they're probably, if you walk into them, they're gonna have heals still, which is important to note. But what was I going with there? Hold on, I just lost my train of thought. One mid, everybody's healthy, but failed to deny their bombs, flanks. Yes, what you would expect in that scenario is probably that they're going to recommit for mid there. So that specific scenario, what I would say is probably all in for their med, because they're probably going to walk into you anyways. So you can have players hiding or something, and trying to get their medic, because regardless of what you do, they are up players, or they're up heals at least. Like it again, we're missing context here. Maybe they lost players that aren't their medic or whatever. But if they have enough players to refight, they're going to refight. So just expect that to happen. So I don't know. That's very situational. I won't get too much more into that, because that depends on a lot of factors. Let's say we are even here. We just finished talking about holding even, flank scout, lower IT, all that jazz. If they are sacking, you're going to expect for them to probably land on your med and demo, so stand accordingly. They're probably going to do it from choke or Al Qaeda. If they're doing it from IT, your player should be spotting that, so we're not going to worry about that right now. But if they are going to sack from choke or Al Qaeda, then you're going to stand back here on plat, and your scout is going to be on height here to deny it, somewhere like this, and then you can just like 3-shot their soldier as they're jumping in, and you should be able to cover that no problem. If they get your medic, they're probably going to think, oh, we got their med, we can push. Then you can probably all in for their med there. But if it's like, oh, we're not getting any value here, that should be a call. Like your main caller should be like, oh, we're not getting value, leave. Cut our losses here. If it's disad, if it's full disad on second here, or just any disad, and you think, oh, we're probably not going to be able to hold this, play your combo back here in 2. Have like a soldier or a scout over here, and then like you can maybe have a soldier or a scout over here to just, apply some pressure, but you want to expect that their players are going to commit per second here, so you want to be able to leave quickly. So you want to be playing to leave. If it's you're going to lose second here, you want to play to leave. The most I would say is play with your roamer like somewhere here, and then if they start walking in through choke, your roamer can bomb like this and land on them and choke here. So that would be that would be a sack on your end. So call that. Say, I'm gonna sack. I'm gonna sack when they walk through choke. Nobody else should die here. If you are dying while your soldier is sacking and also dying, that is now terrible of a situation, and it is fully your fault, because it is called that your soldier is gonna sack on them. You need to not be dying. So very important to be aware of that. That's mostly everything for second there. Anybody have any questions? No idea when we're doing Snakewater review. For sacks while holding last, if you are on offense, holding the enemy second, about to push into last, yes, you can run sacks into last. Running sacks out of last, if you're defending your last point, not common unless they're down somebody already, which is the same way with like if you're holding second and they sack into you. If they sack into you and they lose that player and he didn't get any value, then yes, you counter sack. You can counter sack on last also. It's just going to be a bit more coin flippy, but you're up a player, so you might as well, I have no idea what my HUD is. A HUD. If you sack choke and no one does anything, how should you escape? What do you mean? You're going to need to specify. Team position with a sniper in sewer. If the sniper is in sewer, and if they have a sniper and they are in sewer, and if it's even or if it's add or even, then you just have your soldier, like you can have your med play like back here, and then you have one of your soldiers just bomb him. So that guy here, if a guy is still here, this is a really good one. Just bomb him in here, just like that. So yeah, what Wig says, you can counter sack. It's really important that you're like taking advantage of all you use any advantage you have. If they sacked and lost a player, that's an advantage for you guys. You're up a player, so you want to counter sack, yes. But yeah, that's if you're the attacking team and you're playing on your own cyber viewer, who watches mid? Still your pocket soldier and probably your flank scout. So pocket soldier, probably still watching IT, because again, if you shoot a rocket in here, you can splash anybody trying to walk through this, and then your flank scout can be here to back him up. That's probably bare minimum there. So does that answer that question? Yeah, you could have it be your roamer. Yeah, if it's one of your scouts, that's usually it's assumed. Okay, so a lot of times it's going to be soldiers that switch to sniper, just because it's going to be like that's what a lot of people will do is they'll sack a soldier and then have him come up sniper, or if they sack a scout, it's usually obvious. It's usually it's a lot more obvious that he's going to come up sniper. So so it'd be a bit of a throw off if you have a soldier sack and he comes up sniper. But if it's your flank scout that came up sniper, then you just have your other soldier watch. It's just important that you have two players on mid so that one guy is still watching IT and the other guy can at least somewhat deny if somebody's like bombing through choke and going behind you in sewer. That's the only things that you really need to be defending against if you're on mid here, is people walking through IT or walking through choke. So, all right. Any other questions there? All right, I'll move on from that then. I'm going to assume. Yeah, never mind. I don't know. I think that somebody's recording it. Let's go to offense on second, actually, before I move to last. So let's say we're now the attacking team and we're holding second. Like let's say I'm blue team now. I'm pushing in. If we are add or even, if we're even, let's start with even. If we're even, I'm just gonna probably have my combo sitting here on the point, just building until we get Uber, and have somebody over here, probably one of our soldiers on trap here, getting spam into lobby so they can't just walk through, or just standing here so that I can counter if they're like sacking a player through or whatever it might be. Just being up here is like a good height position, so usually it's to spam lobby. And then everybody else, there should be really no reason to have anybody forward yet because you don't have Uber. Your combo's not walking forward, so I wouldn't have anybody in lobby. You can have somebody like over here by one, or like kind of peeking one and getting some info like that. But again, you're not doing too much because there's no Ubers yet. If you want to do a dry push, then yeah, you're gonna want to start pushing people through. But you'll do the same thing that you would do if you have add, which I'll explain here. If you're about to call a push, or you have add and you want to get in any scenario that you're pushing into last, you want to probably get your combo into lobby here. Probably either lower lobby or upper lobby, either one doesn't matter really. But make sure that you're clearing traps. So there can be traps there can be traps there can be traps there, and on these pipes is another one. There, fucking like on that wall. There can be traps in a lot of areas. So just make sure usually you'll see a lot of them by just turning around in one spot. And like I'll see traps in like 4 different places here. So you don't need to be checking individually every single spot, but do be aware of all the places that there can be traps. So you want to get your combo into lobby, combo scout, demo, med, get into lobby. have your pocket soldier. Usually, your pocket soldier is going to want to watch IT or two like behind. Just watch behind lobby. The idea is that you want to make sure that somebody can't get through 1 or 2 and get behind your team. So it's important that your pocket soldier is just covering behind here. And then your roamer, what your roamer can do a lot of the times is if you're about to, what I would say, what you guys should probably have your default into last be is Uber through 3 or 4. Again, you can change it up as you like, but you're going to see a lot of teams defaulting pushes through 3 or 4, which means I'll use 3 because 3 is usually the good example. You have your med beaming your demo. Your demo is going to shoot a sticky at the ground. Once your demo shoots that sticky, your med should Uber him. He's going to sticky in, fly across the map, maybe land in heaven. If not, land somewhere on the ground and spam them up in heaven. And then while that's happening, your med beams your scout, walks all the way up here with scout speed, and then reconnects with your demo so that he's still an Uber. And then you guys can either take height or just have your demo sitting here to cover the door or spam or trap the point, trap the door, whichever one. And then you've now split the last point here. So you want to use this space to now trap point off and get players on point and then, play for cap. While that's happening, what you'll see a lot of times a good play from roamer is you can go through like 5 here and get into heaven, and now you've split their attention. So now while you're doing that and your team's Ubering through, you can either do that before, during, or after, depends on what your goal is. But if you're doing it during, then now they're having to split attention to your combo and your player over here. You really want to not try and fight people too directly here because there's going to be likely 2 players over here. So you want to try and get into heaven, then maybe just hide up here, and then you can come behind their combo because their combo's going to be playing here. I'll go over that. Your roamer can get through 5, get up to heaven, and then get behind their combo here. Or he can just kind of sit here and just spam down on the players holding back here. Maybe they have a gun up and they have a gun they have a gun right there, or maybe a gun over here. If they do have either one of those, then you want to be able to spot that first. So make sure you guys have your headphones on. You'll be able to hear the gun. If you cannot hear the gun before you're walking into last, then turn your volume up. I mean, it's so easy to just hear the gun. So to be on the lookout for it. It's good practice to check for gun first regardless. Just in case nobody does hear it, because there's plenty of times where nobody hears gun. Oh, shit, there's a gun anyways. Whoops. So general plays to make are to either Uber in, and while that's happening, have one of your soldiers spam the gun, wherever it might be. But it's important that you know where the gun is first. No problem. I'll answer your question really quick. If your teams are getting a little skittish and they're getting even first, I think you already left actually, but whatever. I'll answer it anyways. If the meds manage to get even, then you guys are delaying your push too much. You can still push, yes. Especially because you're probably already halfway committed to a push by the time that you realize that it's even. So, yeah, you probably want to still push. Let me go over the default though. So, what I would say is it's really important to get your soldier or your demo and your scout through 3 here, and just split mid or split last here so that you have some positions to take advantage of. And then while that's happening, kind of at the same time as one of your guys pushing through 3, you get your scout onto the point here. Hold on one second. All right, sorry. If you are getting when you are getting your combo through 3 here, have one of your soldiers, could be your roamer, but if he's already doing it, then while your combo is pushing through, have your pocket rotate. Your pocket should be rotating while the push is happening. So we're gonna the call comes through okay, we're gonna Uber through 3. Your pocket soldier should immediately rotate and get ready to back up your combo. He can also go through 2, but if there's somebody that likes to play around that area, then it might not be good for your soldier to go 1v1 that dude because you're coin flipping it at that point. So it's more consistent for your pocket to then come over here and then clear traps on the point. And then your flank scout can just go walk on the point for free and get tons of cap time. And then he can get off once they realize that he's capping. He just get off. And then now you play for cap again because your demo and your scout are on the other side holding their side of last, and they can get spam on the point. And then you can get your players over here and then just walk on with your demo stickies just locking their players out. And then ideally that's like a free cap from there. If they are committing into you, then I mean you're just gonna have to win the DM fight from there. Ideally you have players on height still, but it's really important that you get traps on point for your players to cap. If not, at least have traps on one of the shutters to keep them from walking out onto you. You can do Ubers through one. A double scout Uber through one's pretty common. You can get Ubers through 5. Like if you want to go through 5, it's usually it's pretty common that like they might not have Uber yet. In which case, you can just walk through 5, just take space, just get a bunch of vision, get a bunch of space, and then you've not even used yet, and you've already split last. So now you can start getting space here, get on a point, and then Uber in front of them if you want to, and then that's another good way to play last. Any questions there on offense into last, pushes into last? Let me see. Oh, somebody had a question about the build level. Yeah. I already went over that. Sorry. Yeah, it's really important that you're spotting it. So if you're not spotting a gun before you push into last, it's like an instant loss because there might be a gun somewhere you didn't expect, and then it's just going to be destroying you while you're trying to push, or you're going to use half your Uber trying to destroy it. So if you want, a good thing to bring up also is sacks into last, actually, related to Whale's question. If you don't want to push yet, like let's say Uber's got even because you guys are taking too long to push last, you can run sacks into last. So I would suggest still getting your combo into lobby so that at least you're pressuring for it. And then you can have a soldier like walk up through 1 and trying to get through 1 in some capacity onto their combo. If there's a dude watching 1, which there should be, then you should probably just cancel. Yeah, it's viable to off class, but it really depends. I would really recommend it, at least for the Newbie Cup, I'd really recommend against off classing in any situations unless it's like an NG on last, because that's going to be the most consistent thing that's going to happen. Because off classes in every other scenario are very like situational and depend a lot on like if you have like a dude on your team that's just like a demon on sniper or something that's just going to kill everybody. And I'd much rather you guys focus on like getting consistent and understanding like a normal flow of 6s, which is not going to include one guy steamrolling on sniper the whole time. If that answers your question, yeah, you can off class a sniper into last. You can off class a spy. Yeah. All right. So last thing to go over. Last defense. You're gonna have your pocket soldier. I'll go over positions first. You're gonna have your pocket soldier here, just in the 1 doorway or just right outside. This again is such a big information position. Same with like pocket soldier on mid. Like your whole existence is to just sit there and provide information and lock out doorways. I'm just sitting here the whole time. Again, I can take my hand off the keyboard and I'm doing my job. So I'm covering 1, I'm covering 2, and I can see anybody that walks into lobby. Again, keep in mind 3, 4, and 5, all those doorways come from this 1 room, which I can see all of by standing right here. So if somebody walks into 1, I can just back up and get some spam into 1. A lot of times they'll hide like on the wall there, in which case I can't see them here unless I'm like kind of like this or something. So I can just spam them out there, and they've got to leave. So this is really important for pocket soldiers to be here. Have your combo here on heaven. If you're building, at least have your combo here in heaven. Demo, scout, and med all just right here is fine. Make sure demo's getting traps somewhere on 3, or you can get traps like here on the pole, and you won't be able to see them really well, right in the middle. But really focus on traps being on like somewhere on this side, because you'll be able to actually see them and dead on players. If you get traps over there, it's going to be a little bit harder to see them and dead reliably on players. And then your flank scout's going to be the one that's probably off-classing to NG. If not, it's fine. You don't have to off-class to NG. It's really recommended that you off-class to NG, though, on flank scout. I would suggest spawn, get your gun up here, build it up, and then once it's up, fully up, upgraded, then you move it to either here is a good... here's a really good spot, because they have to wide peek it from every angle in order to shoot it. Or here's a good spot, or even here is a good spot. Any one of those are fine. It depends, again, it depends on the game state. So like if you're uber ad or even and you don't want to push out, then you can get your gun up like here, because your med's going to have uber and they're going to try and peek your med to drop him. So if you have gun here, then this will be able to shoot anybody except for the guy like all the way back in 1. But you'll have a pocket soldier over there, so he'll be able to spam anybody that walks in 1 anyways. So that's flank scout. And then roamer, just stand somewhere over here, probably on the barrels. Right here is really good. Your pocket soldier will be able to calm if anybody's in lobby. Roamers, please, I beg of you. Please, I beg of you, do not walk into lobby. Please, again, same methodology as like flank scout holding second. There's no reason for you to do this. Like what you're going to be doing is if there's a guy like solo walking into lobby, like you're at best coin flipping a 1v1 against the guy, because you can have your pocket call it at least, and then you're like, okay, hoping that you're getting better rockets onto him, and then at that point you're it's just a DM coin flip. At worst, you're walking into 4 players on combo and instantly dying. So like there's really no good reason to be walking into lobby on roamer on just a regular hold. Like if you're pushing up, obviously you want to be pushing and getting some info, but that because here you can get info as like if they're holding on plat or something under 3 lower lobby. But if you're just holding last, there's no reason for you to be pushing into lobby for anything. Your pocket's already getting all the info, and you're just here holding the doorway so they can't just walk through. So many times, every time I coach teams, every time the roamer always thinks he's too good to just sit there and not take 1v1s and win everything, and just dies all the time, every without fail. I have not had a roamer that I have at least in the beginning coached where they weren't just walking into lobby and feeding all the time. So those are your default positions for holding last. You can, again, vary that as you need to, depending on game state, but those are going to be some pretty consistent defaults. Any questions there? All right, we'll start wrapping up. It's been about an hour and a half. For when they're pushing in, if you're pushing into the enemy's pushing into last, and you're holding your default positions, again, expect them to try and bomb you in heaven here. Just kite. You're just gonna want to kite over to the other side. If you end up having a bunch of players walk into spawn, they're just gonna trap you out, and it's gonna be a really rough time trying to break back out of this. So I try your best to avoid getting all of your players in the spawn. Try instead to just kite through heaven, and then ideally you have your flank players over here still. So now you just hold this side instead of trying to force a fight with their combo that's ubered walking into you. You just holding the other side of last. You get stickies to cover the point so they can't walk on for free, and then you just expect them to jump into you, to bomb into you. Try and make sure you have somebody covering heaven so they don't just walk into you like that. And just expect soldiers to bomb you, stuff like that. And then at that point, you're playing kind of like a pseudo mid fight almost. You're just playing, make sure you're playing for height. Really, you're playing for cap here. It's really important that you're getting traps on the point, and then you're just controlling heaven is really important, because they can really easily just like walk through heaven if you're playing down here and then just land on you and do a ton of damage. If you are even or it's add on last, and you don't want to push in it when it's add, I would suggest moving your med here because they might bring a sniper up. And then if your med's here, then the only way he can get peeked from is from one where your pocket's holding. So also being here makes it really easy for your med to just go through 3 or 4 really fast, and then you guys can Uber into them really quickly. So that's really important when you have Uber or if it's add. If you want to push out, definitely get your combo into lobby here, and then you can push out. You can bomb through lower lobby here. You'll see this a lot where you'll have a demo, bomb out through lower lobby, land and choke behind them, and then your med beams your scout and connects with him, and then your flanks just flood through 1 and 2. It's really important that while that's happening, your players have one guy ideally come through upper lobby so that he's covering like upright T and stuff. Have one guy go through 2 and the other guy go through 3 or through 1. Sorry. So that way somebody's not getting through 1, somebody's not getting through 2, and there's nobody in lobby. You get all of lobby cleared. If you're down players, like they are up players and you're down players, then you probably don't want to push, even if it's add. You can try and force it, but it's going to be a lot less of a guaranteed push. So once you are out here, they might be holding back. That's why you want to be able to get vision early. Like that's when you want to have your roamer walk up. Like if your roamer is able to walk up and see if they're here still, or like walk up into the upper lobby or something and kind of get vision if they're like holding by bats or not by bats, by the pipe over there. If you can see that they're holding by choke, then you want to call that so that your combo's not Ubering through onto nothing and just wasting it all. You can also do that by getting your pocket soldier through 1 here. You can have him just hold 1 up until the very end, and he just walks through, and then obviously check for traps. So that was like perfect time, but you get the idea. Not really there. You would want to position your rocket to be like on this side in case he has really good traps and you push them into yourself. So clear traps, kind of walk out, check, see if they're holding close. All right, just don't walk into them for no reason. Let your combo Uber into them, and then you can walk out and kind of bomb and take positions. But if they're holding back, then yeah, definitely take position here on point and call that to your team, so that way they're not Ubering into nothing. So that's for pushing out of last. All right, I think that's mostly everything. Anybody have any questions or anything else that we should go over? We can wrap it up there. All right, well, I think that'll probably be it. If I don't know, Egan, you think I missed anything? No problem.